What's your favourite Willem Dafoe role?
Boondock Saints. Willem Dafoe is an exceptionally talented and versatile actor with incredible range. A fact that made his decision to decide to play the Green Goblin, the billionaire psychopathic antagonist of Spider-Man in the 2002 movie of the same name, quite confusing to many critics. As it turns out, Willem Dafoe actively sought out the role of the Green Goblin in addition to insisting that he portray the character in costume as much as possible.
A fair few of those casting choices were seen as being unusual.
They were at the time, right up until the exact point the film came out, at which point critics completely reversed their decision. Like, oh wow, I guess this director, who was hired by the studio for being fucking awesome, knows exactly what he's doing. Who'd have thunk it? And the most notable example of that is Tobey Maguire, who Sam Raimi had always pegged for the role of Spider-Man against the studio's wishes, because the studio put forward a number of people. I think like Leonardo DiCaprio was pegged for the role at one point.
He's pegged for every role.
Yeah, that's the thing. And it's like you can find the list of all the people the studio wanted. And my favourite one being Freddie Prinze Jr., aka the guy who plays fucking Fred in the Scooby-Doo movie.
What up, dog? And dog?
I think it speaks a lot to Sam Raimi's eye for casting, that his decision and insistence upon making Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is the reason that Kirsten Dunst ended up playing Mary Jane, and Man of the Hour, Willem Dafoe, ended up playing the Green Goblin. Because initially, Willem Dafoe, we'll talk about this in more detail in a moment, was like, fuck these superhero movies, I don't want to be in a stupid comic book thing, what the fuck's a Green Goblin? And then he heard through the grapevine, but Tobey Maguire's going to be in it. That's not the casting I've expected at all. That's a really that's an ambitious casting right there. This could be an interesting film. I want to be Green Goblin. But before we get on to that, let's talk about something that's quite specific to superhero movies, and that is critics and fans shitting on a casting choice before they've even seen the person try and play the role. And the reason I find this idea so interesting to talk about is because the two casting choices that are held up as the reason, one, this is stupid, or two, no, you should do this, it's an indicator of how bad the film's going to be, is for the same character, and that's the Joker. Because first you have Heath Ledger, and for people who don't remember, when Heath Ledger was first announced as the casting choice for the Joker in The Dark Knight, a lot of people online were like, oh, how can he possibly play the Joker? He's that guy who played the gay cowboy.
In hindsight, it is actually quite interesting to see how much hatred went towards that casting choice.
Yeah, how much vitriol and venom went towards oh fuck, Heath Ledger, he's a terrible choice to play the Joker, and then he ends up coming in, smashing the role so hard, he has poisoned it forever in terms of live action, because there will never be another actor out there who will ever be able to top his live action version of the Joker. And it cracks me up, especially considering that the person who next portrayed the Joker in a big budget live action movie ended up being the worst fucking Joker. So I remember when Jared Leto was cast.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I don't really like Jared Leto. He's a good actor, but I don't think. Then I remembered, no, people say it's about Heath Ledger. Let's not judge, because people said this about Heath Ledger, and they got their assholes blown out by his performance. Let's just sit back and wait. And then I remember seeing the Empire magazine cover, where they revealed the design. I went, oh, fuck this guy.
So Willem Dafoe is a fantastic actor.
Indeed.
And I'm assuming that as soon as he shot in and was like, I want this part, they were like, we need him.
No, you'd think it would have snapped him up, but apparently when Willem Dafoe heard the oh, Tobey Maguire's in this movie, Sam Raimi directing, what an interesting combo, this sounds great. Sam Raimi is pegged me for the role, I'll put my name forward. The studio told him, unfortunately, Willem, we've got a list of actors we are considering for Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin, and your name is now right at the bottom of it. The casting of that movie is fantastic, and obviously Sam Raimi was responsible for a lot of that. Because we think some of the casting choice for that movie are fucking spot on. J.K. Simmons is
Perfect.
Perfect.
So perfect. People are you need to bring him back for the MCU. Even if it causes universe issues.
I do not give a fuck what shenanigans you have to explain to bring him back. Make him J. Jonah Jameson. That was the perfect fucking casting. And again, obviously Tom Holland has now taken the torch and ran with it, but I think Tobey Maguire was a fantastic Spider-Man. He did an admirable job.
Yeah.
And especially as well, the second movie, we can't not give props to the second movie. The train hole, The faces he pulls during that scene are legendary. Have you ever seen like the screenshots we've got of him when he's holding the train? Is that the best scene in a comic book movie ever?
It's hard to top.
Because I know people out there, oh no, they're fighting like, you know, Infinity War, where like Thanos is punching planets out of up. It's like, yeah. And I will happily go back and watch that scene in Infinity War, but there's just something about that scene in Spider-Man 2 where you really feel for the character. And I don't think that's ever been topped in a superhero movie yet, because you feel that Spider-Man is trying his fucking best, don't you? And the fact that like he fails like 3 times, like when he puts his foot down and he just like his foot gets smashed, it's like 400 fucking train sleepers. And then you get the guy who drives train. Any more bright ideas?
Any more bright ideas? I got a few. Yeah.
So they didn't want Willem Dafoe for the role.
Sam Raimi did, but the studio didn't now.
But who did the studio want? Did they have anyone specific in mind?
There was a few actors, and I think the most interesting choice they could have made, say for Willem Dafoe, would have been Nicolas Cage, who was on the short list of people they wanted. But I'm not sure if he turned it down or if like Willem Dafoe's just like performance knocked them away in an audition. We'll talk about it in a moment. But like, I don't know if it would have been better or worse to have Nicolas Cage. Because obviously Nicolas Cage is one of those actors where he always gives 100% no matter how bad the movie is. And that movie was really, really fucking good. So I'm now thinking like, would Nick Cage have chewed the scenery more than Willem Dafoe? Because I don't know if he could have done. Because like, Willem Dafoe is chewing the fucking scenery in every scene he's in. And as we're about to talk about as well, he insisted on playing the Green Goblin at all times, even when he was in the costume, which is why, obviously, he's just fucking hamming it the fuck up.
So how did Willem Dafoe end up actually getting the role if he was on the bottom of the list and Nick Cage was higher?
Yeah, Nick Cage was above. It's because Willem Dafoe asked the studio, like, well, will you at least humour me and let me read for one of the scenes? I guess so, yeah. Where are you right now? I'm in Spain filming a movie that's not Spider-Man. And okay then, we've got a cameraman out there. He'll come to your hotel room with like, you know, a script. Just read out some lines on it. We'll take a look. So, you know, you're Willem fucking Dafoe. And apparently, like, this cameraman turned up to like Willem's hotel room. He read 2 scenes. The cameraman took it back to Sony. They watched it and went, cast him. He making Green Goblin, he's our Green Goblin. Fuck everyone else on this list. He's the Green Goblin. So that's how he got it. And here's the amazing thing though, because I always read Willem Dafoe's performance as him just hamming it the fuck up. It was him like seeing a massive paycheck and just going, fuck it, it's a dumb superhero movie. I'm just going to chew the scenery in every scene. No, he took it so seriously. There were like interviews with him where he's talking about, oh yeah, I really appreciate the depth of Norman Osborn and how like his journey parallels Spider-Man's. And that obviously, but it's the journey of like, you know, a good guy to a villain. And I really appreciate the dualities displayed in the character. And then you can like smash cut that to him just surfing around like a jackass on the Goblin glider. So good.
There's so much depth to this character.
There's so much depth to this character. Smash cuts him throwing skeleton bombs at people. Fucking hell.
So you said that Willem Dafoe wanted to wear the actual costume.
No, he insisted on wearing it because originally they were just going to get a stuntman and make him wear the suit for all the scenes. Because obviously it's got completely face obscuring mask and just dubbing Willem Dafoe's voice over the top. And he was like, no, fuck that. I'm wearing the costume. I'm Green Goblin. Most stunt actors, like, their physicality is impressive and, like, you know, they can pretend to be kicked in the dick and all that stuff, but how is the character going to emote? Like, they're stuntmen, they're not actors. And if that quote was coming from a guy called Anthony Daniels, I'd say, that's a bit dickish, let the stuntman wear it. But when it's Willem Dafoe and he actively sought out this role and he wants to wear the dumb, stupid costume because he wants to swan around pretending it's fucking Shakespeare, I don't mind it. Because in interviews, he openly acknowledges, like, yeah, the stuntmen were brought in for the stunts, but if you want someone walking around wearing the costume, it might as well be me because I'm playing Norman Osborn, so I'm the one who understands the character the most. And so the idea, I understand Norman Osborn. This is what cracks me up. Because he took it so seriously. Like, everyone who played in that movie took the role so seriously. So I think Tobey Maguire studied spiders. Like, he actually went and studied spiders. And they asked him, why are you studying spiders? To help, empathise with Spider-Man. And, Willem Dafoe, he was so, passionate and insistent upon, I want to help bring the character to life, that he even, worked with choreographers to develop a fighting style for the Green Goblin. Because obviously, he understands the character, and he's aware of the limitations of the costume. And originally, they were going to have, the Green Goblin doing, all sorts of crazy bullshit. And Willem Dafoe went, well, no, because, I'm not, he's not a trained martial artist. Spider-Man should be the acrobatic one, but he's got, these amazing, fantastic abilities. I'm fueled by rage. My fighting style should be, more straightforward. I think he's got, a meat and potatoes, punch and kick-based fighting style, because that's how a guy who's fueled by rage would fight. He would fight, directly, whereas Spider-Man's going to be more elegant and graceful. And the fact that he thought more than not at all about how to punch someone in that stupid fucking suit is amazing.
It is nice that there are some actors who would have just written it off, it's a dumb comic book movie, especially then, before Marvel films became a big staple.
Before they were making $1 billion at the box office, and you can get Kate Blanchett in them and shit.
It's nice to know that those actors back then were still this is an important role and it means something to people, we should put effort in.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that movie's perfect, but I feel like every actor who was involved with it was at least trying. And there's movies released today, especially comic books, you look at Suicide Squad and Justice League, and you can tell they're phoning it the fuck in because they don't care. And then that's why I love the idea that Willem Dafoe, one, actually saw the role because he was interested in the character, even though he ended up being a cartoonish parody anyway. The fact he put the effort in is what I appreciate. So as I touched upon in the conclusion of this video, the reason I love Willem Dafoe's performance in that 2002 Spider-Man movie is not because it's fantastic, because it's a bit hammy, it's a bit cliche, it's very cheesy. It's because, though, Willem Dafoe clearly put the effort in. And I appreciate that. So sticking within the realm of superhero movies, let's put some more respect on some actors who appeared in these superhero movies, and they haven't written them off. So, it's a dumb superhero movie, I'm just going to phone in my phone. So they actually went ahead and put the fucking effort in. And they tried their damnedest. And we're going to start off with Nicolas Cage. So I'm not sure if the bit's going to be cut, but Nick Cage went and got fucking abs at 45 years old for the Ghost Rider movie. A movie that I think has 45% on Rotten Tomatoes. We're sticking with the theme of getting in shape for a role. You can't not mention Hugh Jackman. So I think, as he even mentioned, he's I hate doing these movies. I hate becoming Wolverine because it's so much effort. I think he has to basically dehydrate himself to the point where he might die. I think it's something that professional bodybuilders do before they go on stage.
Yeah.
And he has to do it for a couple of weeks for all his so they can film all his shirtless scenes back to back. And then he slowly gets himself back up on stage relatively in shape for the rest of the fucking movie. It's it's crazy to think. And I think someone asked why do you do it? And he says, well, I wouldn't recommend anyone else does it, but I'd be really annoyed if there was someone else playing that role. And then stick with X-Men. Maybe someone didn't get it, Patrick Stewart. Yeah. And Ian McKellen. You think two Shakespearean, classically trained Shakespearean actors who spent most of their time on stage reading out the classic plays of the greatest author in history. Yeah, fuck it, we'll be in these superhero movies and we'll do it and we'll take it seriously. I'll treat the source material with respect. I'm not gonna pretend I'm above this role. I'm going to embody it. And it shows in their performance. And the fact that they still both came back. And the fact that Patrick's just I'll come back for a cameo. I don't give a fuck. Just call me up. I love these things. These are awesome. I love that people keep coming to my shows and asking me to sign stuff as Professor X. And then you contrast that to fucking just Justice League. And we've just got Ben Affleck behind the scenes fuck these movies. I don't want to be Batman anymore. Fuck being Batman. These movies suck ass. I never want to be in them.
How bad has it got to be where you don't want to be Batman?
You don't want to be Batman. It's so bad. And then he's it's just the idea that you contrast, who's Christopher Reeve. He's fuck, Superman. Being Superman's so awesome. Just start gonna save the day. He's got Henry Cavill, now he's gonna go be in a Netflix series. Give me that Raiden wig from the fucking Mortal Kombat Annihilation movie. We're gonna go punch chimeras now. Get your own fucking Superman.